Hello? And so for 1 week, that was our agreement. Giving financial consensus, they say you don't get a government. So whether they thought that they were the so we didn't suspend the last. That's yeah. So that yesterday's meeting was getting the appropriate of community. So we come back to status quo until the status quo was 497. So depending on which we can move up and down. But if not, that's it.
So which means because of the 1 week, the yesterday agreed that we need it. Is that what is party or is made you to open relax for 1 week?
Really, the letter on spirit of that agreement yesterday. That the federal government is committed to moving beyond 55. Up to now, even there was a challenge on why by some subnationals and why should you even agree on speech, and they were quarreling among themselves. Why? Some of them didn't do that. But the outcome of yesterday's deliberation shows that they are committed to moving beyond that. So it's like they have given a framework for us to negotiate to reach certain place. That is it. And then before, it appears as if the negotiation was going to be infinite. And the outcome yesterday shows that this will be completed and concluded within 1 week. So what else do you want to do? So those are some of the obstacles for negotiating without end. And then with a kind of feeling of one partner, you are not moving beyond the other. All those hurdles have been done. So every party can now talk seriously for us to get
Let's look at zero. Talking about threshold now, floors and ceiling, the organized labor, what will be the floor for the organized labor that you cannot go below?
Negotiation is ongoing. Floor and ceiling, huge thing. Where we land, be the floor. Ceiling, very large aspect. We can completely bear in mind that 2025, they don't need to pay. So the same thing to get a floor now. And people all pay higher than this. That will be the thing. The floor will be basic. Where we have basic.
Okay, Presi, we observed that the meeting was very brief. And how comes? Have you reached an agreement?
I know. We resumed the conversation in the tripartite committee today. And in the meeting, we followed the agenda that was set in the meeting. You come to meetings, you review the minutes of previous meetings, matters arising. So we followed the standard of a typical agenda for a meeting, and we exhausted what we needed to do for today. So having exhausted what was in the agenda, we adjourn for tomorrow. So we'll continue conversation tomorrow.
This is your first meeting since after the strike was,
yes, correct.
Was embarked upon.
Yes.
Now, what should Nigerians be hopeful? I mean, going by the agenda that you guys did go through today, should Nigerians be hopeful that this is going to be a fruitful deliberations to the betterment of Nigerians as it affects the minimum wage?
Yes. As you recall, you saw the communique that we signed yesterday. So we have a 7 days timeline for us to reach conclusions on all these. So we will do everything possible to stick with that timeline, because for us, we have conveyed all our position that we must stick to that timeline, which everybody has agreed. So we are walking the talk along that timeline to ensure that maximum 7 days from yesterday, we will have a decision.
The NLC president said you are relaxing this for 7 days, and can you confirm that to us after the meeting with government? 5 working days, that's 1 week.
When you say after the meeting with government, I don't.
No, immediately after this meeting, is that one of the issues you raised? Is that one of the issues you discussed? And
no.
You had a meeting with NLC some hours ago.
No. The meeting that we had yesterday was a meeting with federal government. So a meeting with federal government is different from the tripartite meeting. If you recall that yesterday, the organized private sectors weren't in that meeting.
No, I'm referring to the meeting you had early this morning with NLC. And there's a communique that was supposed to come out. The NLC president said, we interacted with him some hours ago, that you are relaxing the strike for 5 working days. Can you confirm that?
Yes. Because the agreement we signed yesterday was that it's for 7 days. That within 7 days, that issues bordering the national minimum wage should be concluded. So that was why we gave a window. That was why we gave a window for that 7 days. So that so we are working in line. If government said, okay, give us time for us to conclude, and we agreed that timeline to be 7 days. So the NEC also approved that, okay, let us also give a window of 7 days, that after 7 days, if nothing is done, we go back again to the trenches.
Was there a shift from 60,000?
No, we've not started the Naira and Kobo. Like I have said, we basically, it was what was in the agenda for this meeting. So we've exhausted what is in the agenda for this meeting, and when we come back tomorrow, then we move into further conversations.
Thank you
so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
About a meeting this evening, would you say government is willing to improve on its offer to the organized labor and the organized private sector?
And of course, that's what we agreed to. We go back from our agreement. So we agreed to improve, and so we've just started, set an agenda, and then we'll come back tomorrow, and then we'll start the work.
Is there a figure in mind, ma'am?
The truth of the matter is that we will improve. And whether there's a figure in mind, you will know that at the end of the day.
So Labour said they are relaxing for 7 days. Did they say that in the meeting?
It's an agreement that was signed, and it's not a subject of discussion. And they said that to Nigerians. So why would they come and repeat it? We are matured people, and we are Nigerians, and we are responsible people. We are not. I don't think we are not serious enough to own to our agreements. So why do we need to ask them that question? The question is not relevant at this time, because we know that we mean business and we want to move the country forward.
Lastly, from me, I'm representing as a member of the federal government. Are you assuring Nigerians that at the expiration of this 7 days relaxation of the strike by the organized labor, that there'll be no further strike, that an agreement will be reached, and Nigerians will be happy for this?
Of course, I believe so. Why wouldn't I believe this? I'm working for it to work, and of course, when they walked out and then we called them, pleaded that they come back to the negotiating table, we were expecting that everything would come to an end, and then we move forward. Because there are a lot of things to do. We've wasted too much time on this. We have a lot of things to do, and the mandate of the Ministry of Labour and Employment is to make sure that poverty is reduced and that we create jobs or create wealth. So why would we sit down and just be wasting our times when we know that time's waste for nobody? So I'm optimistic that we're going to come to conclusion of this thing, so that we'll be able to move to the next level.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Your designation.
Okay, so my name is Shegun Ajayi Kadri, MNI.
They missed your name.
Okay, so my name is Shegun Ajayi Kadri, MNI. I'm Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. But for this conversation, I also speak for the organized private sector, a member of the tripartite in this negotiation.
So did you shift ground from your 57 or 67 Naira?
No, I think the conversation we are having today, following the meeting with government and labor yesterday, and also in continuation of our assignment to negotiate a minimum wage, we are continuing and trying to find an amicable settlement so that labor will come from their grounds and the organized private sector and government will also come from the levels that we have been before we had the strike. So we are coming back now, and it is expected that in the next few days, within the 1 week agenda we have set for ourselves, that we'll be able to arrive at a mutually acceptable minimum wage and submit the report to Mr. President.
Thank you.
What are the issues? Why is the delay? What is causing this delay?
Well, it's not dragging because it is not easy, like we've said. These are very difficult times for us to negotiate a minimum wage because the economy is going through turbulent times. So we needed enough time to be able to consult with our constituencies. The government consults, the labor consults, and the private sector consults. So we are hopeful that it is better to take time for consultations and from adequate considerations before we arrive at a mutually acceptable rate and the way to move forward. Don't forget that once you arrive at the minimum wage, it's going to subsist for the next few years that will be required for another cycle. So I think it's best we take our time, not hurry, and achieve something that will be sustainable.
As private sector, are you considering a position of shifting, just like the federal government said? Federal government is the government, you are the employers, and the workers are saying 494. Yes. So where are you considering shifting like the federal government?
Well, I think it is better to say this on the negotiation table because whether you shift ground or not is dependent on what the other party is saying, and that's what makes a good negotiation. We are looking forward to taking a holistic view. It's not only minimum wage. I mean, something determines how much you are able to pay. The operating environment, the situation in which you are confronted, the size of your income, what you are looking for to the projection for your business. As you are aware, the organized private sector is facing tough times, and there are measures that we believe that government needs to take for us to be able to also function effectively. So I think rates has to be based on what is offered on the negotiation table, and that would determine what we do next.
Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Sheikh.